Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the March 3rd, 2014 City Council meeting to order. Kevin, would you read the roll, please?
Mayor Yanish. Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Christensen.
Here.
Amon.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Dockin.
Here.
Fagerly.
Here.
DeBleek.
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Would you all please rise as we say the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm just going to make one quick comment to the council and staff. I've been sick all weekend, and I'm doing well now, but the cold has gone to my head, so I'm not sure, literally. So my hearing, while not good to begin with, is maybe a little bit worse tonight. So just please speak up so that I can hear everyone. Do we have any proposed changes or deletions to the agenda? All right. We'll move to the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second for the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. All right, we'll move into the scheduled hearings. Our first hearing is to amend the zoning ordinance fees charged by the city, and I'll open that public hearing. And Mr. Peterson.
Mayor Pro Tem Anderson, members of the council, under consideration this evening is an amendment to our zoning ordinance, or to our zoning fees. It basically impacts our entire zoning fee schedule. The general increase is from $225 to $275 for the following zoning actions: conditional use permits, variances, appeals, rezonings, and text amendments. And there is a proposal to increase subdivision fees from $250 to $300 as the minimum charge. Additionally, we have requested that the council institute a plan review fee of $100 and a zoning verification letter fee of $50. Also, that sign inspection fees be increased by a uniform $20 across the board for all the 5 different categories of sign inspections that are conducted. And that is the recommendation of staff.
Okay. Are there any comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll move it to the council table.
I'll move the recommendation, Mr. Mayor. Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. Is there discussion? Councilmember Christensen.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thanks, Bruce. The plan review, $100, that's something new? Is that just for conditional use permits and variances, or what's the plan review?
We have a section in our zoning ordinance that are called permitted uses and permitted uses with plan review. The permitted uses with plan review require the same staff and planning commission review as do conditional use permits, only there's no public hearing required. So we don't have the same costs involved. This is a way to recoup a small portion of the additional staff time and engineering time that goes into most of these plan review evaluations.
Okay. Give me an example of it, of the plan review, of just something that's shot in the dark.
A fast food restaurant in a general business district would not require a conditional use permit. I do not believe it would require formal plan review by the Planning Commission, so we'd look at the same parameters. We would make the same findings of fact that we make for a conditional use permit, only there's no public hearing because it's generally assumed to be a permitted use.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Further discussion? If not, roll call.
Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
Okay, the next item is to amend the rental inspection program fees. I'll open the public hearing, and Mr. Peterson, you're still there.
Yes, I am. This is an interesting request for the council because these are fees that date back to the inception of the rental inspection program. So the fees that are in place right now are old, they're inadequate, and don't even come close to funding the costs of the rental housing inspection program. The new fees will not either, but they will certainly go a lot further towards meeting our real costs. Our original registration fee was $25 per building and $5 per unit, which means a single-family home would have a $30 registration fee, a duplex would be $35, et cetera. You can do the math. And we had other fees involved in that schedule, such as notices or failure to register properties. We'd send notices. In the past, those were $25, $50, and $100 for first, second, third notification. We're proposing that those be increased by $25 each. Additionally, we are dealing with some reinspection fees. In the past, we've never charged for a reinspection of property. We would still propose that there be no reinspection fee unless it requires a second reinspection fee. If there are things that the property owner did not get done the first time around, if he did not meet the first deadlines, there would be a reinspection fee of $50. If it requires a third reinspection, we would recommend a $100 fee. Currently, we charge $50 for that. Additionally, as the process drags on, the ordinance currently states that there's a $5 charge per violation per day, beginning on the date that the alleged violation continues after the expiration of the consideration period for completing all the repairs. We would also like to implement an increased fee for no-show inspections, increasing that from $30 to $50 because that remains a significant problem in the program. We've got a lot of property owners that if they aren't ready to show it again, if they don't have the work done, rather than let us know that they're not done, they'll just not show up for the inspection, and that's certainly a waste of our inspectors' time. So the inspection program fee adjustments you see in front of you are a recommendation of staff, and further our recommendation would be to adopt the ordinance, assign it a number, and publish it.
Thank you. Comments from the public? Seeing and hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it to the council.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. To have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Roll call, Kevin, please.
Councilmember Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That passes. Okay, Bruce, one more time. And I will open the public hearing at this time.
Okay. This is a hearing on an ordinance to rezone property from shopping center district to a general business district. The property in question lies at the intersection of 5th Street Southeast and 19th Avenue, and it's the corner property shown in white there. It is southeast of the Candy Mall property. INS Group of Faribault has requested the rezoning, and they're planning a standalone retail project that is not part of the Candy Mall or tied in any way to the Candy Mall. The general business district has less restrictive setbacks than the mall district, and the Planning Commission and staff believe that those standards are more applicable to this property than the mall zoning would be. The property to the south is all zoned general business, as is to the property to the east, and the proposal is certainly consistent with our comprehensive plan. For those reasons, I'd recommend that the ordinance be adopted, assigned a number, and published.
Comments from the public? Please, identify yourself and give us your address, please.
Good evening. I'm Andy Brandel with I&S Group, 1415 Town Square Lane, Faribault, Minnesota. As Bruce mentioned, we are requesting the rezoning of that property. We first of all would like to thank you for hearing it this evening, and do want to request that you approve that rezoning. Our goal is to continue to move forward with a proposed Aldi grocery store on that site. And we have already submitted plans to the city in the hopes that the rezoning can move forward and we can continue this process moving. With me this evening is a representative from Aldi as well, and we'd either one of us would gladly answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just hang tight, we may have some questions. Anyone else from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing and bring it to the table. Councilmember Christensen.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'll move staff's recommendation that we adopt the ordinance, assign it a number, and publish it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Councilmember Ahman.
Could you please spell the name of your store again, please? Or could you spell the name of the store, how it's pronounced and spelled?
Would you step up to the microphone, please?
That's Aldi, A-L-D-I.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Yeah, go ahead.
It isn't very often we get to see the business people. I'm assuming you're part owners or owners of the company or representatives, correct?
I am there, represent them as their consultant engineer, and Andrew Mack here is the director of real estate for Aldi.
Okay.
So,
It isn't very often we get to see representatives here at the council. I just want to take this opportunity. I'm sure the rest of the council agrees that thank you for coming here and representing so that people can see who you are, and welcome to our community. Wish you the best of luck.
thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Councilmember Dockin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I have a question. Is it the same Aldi store that's in St. Cloud?
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, that's a great store. We're glad you decided to come to Wilmer.
We're very excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, that's a roll call, please.
Councilmember Ahman.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That passes. Thank you, gentlemen. Next item on the agenda is the Wilmer City Council Open Forum. Do we have anyone?
Yes, sir, we have Linda Ketcher signed up.
Okay, ma'am, if you'd step forward and state your name and address, please.
Hello, my name is, Linda Ketcher, and I'm not certain this is the right time and place to be doing this, but you have an agenda item to approve a purchase agreement for Jenny O for the land. Is that what's on the agenda for today?
Yes, it is on the
So is this the right time?
Yes,
to be-
because there'll
Okay.
be no public comment there. So
Okay,
You've
all
got
right, all right.
3 minutes.
Okay, good. I attended the Community Development Committee meeting on Thursday, and a few questions came to my mind, and there wasn't a time to really ask those questions. So I thought I would come here and ask a few of them, and maybe, is this a kind of a question and answer? I can ask a question, and you can maybe answer. I want to clarify the date of the write-down policy, when that was approved. I don't see it on the write-down policy itself in the committee minutes. I had heard October 2013. Is that correct?
It was in the fall. Do we have
I
a...
believe it's October 2013. I don't have an exact date, but I believe that was the time frame.
Okay, thank you. Then I have a question regarding the appraisal date. That was September, before the write-down policy? That's
Does
what
someone
it's
know the-
dated September 2013?
That's the date of the appraisal, yes.
Okay. So I just want to clarify, it was prior to the policy was established. Then I want to also ask the question, who authorized the appraisal? Was that Genio, or did the city ask for it?
City?
The city asked for the appraisal.
Okay, so we authorized that? All right. So then I read the purchase agreement. From what I understand, Genio is approving the offer to purchase based on appraisal figures the city gave Genio. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Then I wondered, I did not see in this purchase offer the cost of moving Highway 40.
Bruce, maybe you
Would
want to answer
Bruce
that.
or-
I mean, it was done as part of our street program.
But we did do this project, didn't we? Because Genio was landlocked years ago, and they couldn't build another plant, and so we went ahead and moved this Highway 40 and making way for the new project.
Mayor Pro Tem Anderson, members of the council, the relocation of Wilmer Avenue has been on the board since we relocated our airport and were able to get in there and make some infrastructure improvements. The future of Genio was certainly one consideration in constructing Wilmer Avenue the way it is the way it is newly constructed. Another significant impact was the fact that we had a skewed crossing on Wilmer Avenue, and BNSF did not like the safety issues that existed there. So now we have a full 90-degree crossing with Wilmer Avenue. The way Wilmer Avenue is constructed across the industrial park now provides access to a number of other properties besides the 30-acre tract that lies north of Genio Turkey Store. So Genio was a consideration, but by no means the only driving force in having that street be relocated or realigned.
Okay. Thank
You
you.
have more questions?
Are we out of time?
No, you're fine.
One more question,
Sure.
quickly. Thank you. My last question was, it seems to me when this first came up, the project itself, that there would be a public hearing, and I'm just wondering when it occurs in this process.
Bruce or Charlene, would you
Well,
answer?
a public hearing was held on the vacation of the road. The next step, pending your action under community development, would be if the council directs the staff to develop that agreement will come back to the council for additional consideration.
Does that answer your question?
No? A public hearing on this purchase agreement with the write-down and the business subsidy, the whole purchase agreement itself?
There's not a public hearing for that.
There isn't? It's not policy to do one?
Correct.
Bruce, if you want to maybe go over the process more directly.
Understanding of the land transfer process is that the council has to do so by resolution. I do not believe there's any ordinance required for the land transfer. If there would be an ordinance required, that would require a public hearing. But short of that, for the transfer, it would basically be the council taking action by resolution to act on their own policy. Further down the road, if the council determines that they wish to pursue tax increment financing to assist with some of the site preparation costs for the project, that does require a public hearing by Minnesota statutes.
Okay. Does that,
Not really, but thank you for your
Okay.
time. I'm still not, transfer is one thing, but there's a phase one and phase two, and you're entering into a purchase agreement. So it's based on
I really
that.
think that for you to get a full understanding, I'd recommend maybe that you meet with Mr. Peterson or...
Well, are you all clear that there's no public hearing? That's all that I'm asking. And then I guess I'm done. Thank you very much for your time. And I did want to add here that the reason I'm here is because I think this is a great project, adding jobs to the city. I'm not here to discount that whatsoever. I think that just answering a few of these questions might pave the way for moving forward in a more
That's fine.
comfortable fashion. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak to the council? Okay. Then we'll move to the Finance Committee report for February 24th. And I've asked Vice Chair Johnson to go through those minutes for us. So, Councilmember Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. The Finance Committee met on Monday, February 24, 2014, in Conference Room 1 at the City Office Building at the usual time, 4:45 p.m. The meeting was called to order by Chairman Anderson. Public comments were solicited, but none were offered. There were numerous people in attendance. Item number 3 on our agenda at that time was the Wilmer Municipal Utilities 2013 financial report and was taken for information only. Staff presented the Wilmer Municipal Utilities 2013 financial report. Wes Homp presented to the committee the 2013 financial report, which included revenues, operating income, and operating expenses. Revenues were down from the annual budget, mostly attributable to electrical consumption being down. That matter was for information only. Item number 4 was consideration of the Wilmer Township fire contract. Staff reviewed with the committee the proposed fire protection contract with the Wilmer Township. The statewide formula used to calculate the amount due from the township is based on information from the previous year. which includes operating costs of the fire department, depreciation of the fire station and equipment, the number of firefighter hours used, and market values of the area covered in Wilmer Township. Following discussion, a motion was made, seconded, and passed to introduce a resolution authorizing the mayor and the city administrator to execute the agreement as presented in the amount of $47,706.46. And I would move to introduce that resolution at this time.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to execute the agreement in the amount of $47,706.46. Discussion. That's a roll call, Kevin.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That passes.
Item number 5 dealt with the 2014 street improvement budgets. Staff presented the 2014 street improvement budget for 5 individual projects. The region individual budgets are required is due to the various financing requirements to fund the improvements. The projects were for reconstruction, overlay, new construction, and street lighting. With respect to Project 1401, a motion was made, following discussion, a motion was made to introduce that a resolution to approve that project, the preliminary budget for it being $965,700. Excuse me, Kevin, we're going to take these one at a time, I
Yes, sir.
presume? Yeah.
Yes.
And I would, at this time, move to introduce that resolution to approve the preliminary budget for Project 1401.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Project 1401 preliminary budget of $965,700. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin. Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
Also, following discussion of those projects, a motion was made to introduce a resolution to approve the 1403 preliminary budget, project budget in the amount of $372,150. And I would, at this time, introduce that resolution with respect to Project 1403.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 1403 preliminary project budget at $372,150. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That passes.
Motion was also made, seconded, and passed to introduce a resolution to approve the 1404 preliminary budget project, and that's in the amount of $390,110. And at this time, I would move to introduce that resolution with respect to Project 1404.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 1404 preliminary project budget in the amount of $390,110. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That passes.
And following that, a motion was made, seconded, and passed to introduce a resolution to approve the 1405 preliminary project budget at $3,771,900. And at this time, I would move to introduce that resolution with respect to preliminary project budget for Project 1405.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 1405 preliminary budget in the amount of $3,771,900. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That passes.
The motion was then made, seconded, and passed to introduce a resolution to approve the 1407 preliminary project budget in the amount of $58,190. And I would move to introduce that resolution with respect to Project 1407.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 1407 preliminary budget in the amount of $58,190. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
The committee then discussed the need to set a public hearing in order to be able to finance a portion of the program with general obligation improvement bonds. A motion was made, seconded, and passed to introduce a resolution setting a public hearing for March 17, 2014, to consider an ordinance authorizing the issuance of $1,205,000 in general obligation improvement bonds. And I would move to introduce that resolution at this time with respect to issuance of the GEO improvement bonds in the amount of $1,205,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to set a public hearing for the general revenue notes in the amount of $2,730,000. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That passes.
Item number 6 on the agenda was the Lakeland Drive financing. Staff presented the Minnesota Public Facilities Authority loan application for the Midwest Lift Station and Lakeland Drive sewer project for review. There were some questions on projected costs listed in the application, and staff will work with the consulting engineers to verify that the numbers on the application match those of the recent rate study that was completed by Springstead. And a motion was made, seconded, and passed to introduce a resolution authorizing application for the MPFA loan, specifically to set a public hearing for March 17, 2014, to consider an ordinance authorizing the issuance of GEO revenue notes in the amount of $2,730,000. And I would move to introduce that resolution at this time.
Second.
I have a question. Can we put both of those into one resolution? I mean,
The finance director is indicating they need to be separately.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
I'm sorry, the finance director is indicating they need to be handled separately. Maybe perhaps, Mr. Opens, you want to clarify why that is?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, council members, the reason that there needs to be two separate resolutions is one is the application for the note to the Public Facilities Authority, who finances their notes through issuance of bonds through the state of Minnesota. And the second action is to issue a GEO revenue bond as a collateral to that note. That's the reason why there needs to be two separate actions.
Okay. So I think,
Resolution 8 should be the application first.
right, but we have a motion and a second on the table. I think we should put it all together. Don't you think we should undo that and then?
Yeah, perhaps Councilmember Johnson maybe wishes to amend his motion or withdraw and make
I would just move to withdraw the motion.
And the seconder?
Yes.
Okay.
And at this time, then, I would introduce a resolution to authorize an application to MPFA for the loan.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion for the application for the loan. Is there any discussion? That's a roll call.
Councilmember Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That passes.
And there was also a motion made, seconded, and passed to introduce a resolution to set a public hearing for March 17, 2014, to consider an ordinance authorizing the issuance of GEO revenue notes in the amount of $2,730,000. And I would move to introduce that resolution at this time to set the public hearing with respect to those revenue notes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to set a public hearing for March 17th, 2014, for the issuance of GA revenue bonds in the amount of $2,730,000. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Ammen.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That passes.
Item number 7 was was Project 1302 final budget. Staff presented the 1302 final budget, which is based on the council-approved contracts for Wilmer Avenue Quiet Zone, and 4th Avenue in the Industrial Park. After review, a motion was made, seconded, and passed to introduce a resolution to approve the final budget for Project 1302 at $2,379,768. And I would introduce that resolution at this time with respect to Project 1302.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to introduce a resolution to approve the final budget project for 1302 in the amount of $2,379,768. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Kevin, we are keeping you busy.
Councilmember Johnson.
Aye.
Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Ammen.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That passes.
Item 8 was a summary report with respect to the local option sales tax. Staff presented the status of the local option sales tax fund, informing the committee that the second local option sales tax expired on December 31, 2012. The fund was closed in 2012 by City Council action, and the remaining funds, $8,899,441, were transferred to the Industrial Development Fund and designated for the redevelopment of the old city airport land. Other activity in 2012 was the recapture of funds for the Wilmer Avenue realignment due to land release issues with the FAA, the payment of taxes, and the removal of FAA equipment. The balance starting 2013 was then $9,347,031. The committee reviewed the 2013 activity of industrial land reclamation, the Western Collector, Project 1302, Wilmer Avenue realignment and quiet zone, Robbins Island bike path, and market value reductions. After also discussed were projects approved for 2014 for Civic Center improvements, industrial park development, bike path improvements, and preliminary work on the Lakeland Drive bike path. The committee received this for information at this time, directing staff to review the present policy of allocating the investment market value fluctuations for discussion at the next meeting, so the committee could reinstate a possible $722,393 for eligible projects. The committee also would like to have more discussion on the total cost for all projects, past, present, and future, at its next meeting. Item 9 was old business, but there was none, and item 10 was new business, but there was no new business. There was no further business, and I would at this time move to file the minutes.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to file the Finance Committee minutes. Discussion?
Question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Alman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Temp. Regarding the item number 6, the Lakeland Drive project, there was some discussion. I just want to make it clear, and I hope the rest of the City Council understands that we've scaled down this project from its original intention. But I do want to make a statement regarding what's going to happen in the previous year as far as our budget and how we're going to move ahead with improving that corridor of Lakeland Drive in the southeast side of town. I think it's a really important part of our integral pattern of our systems, of our traffic flow in their community, and with the operations of Highway 12 consulting coming with us, and I think it's really important that we somehow get an understanding that we are going to be dedicated to. I hope at the same time that this Highway 12 study comes back with recommendations that in the future, meaning next year, I hope that we will be also funding or making available the improvement for the remaining part of Lakeland Drive that was removed from the project as per staff's recommendations. I just want to make that comment.
Thank you. Anything else? All in favor of filing the minutes, say aye.
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 Opposed? That passes. We'll go to the Public Works Safety Committee report for February 25th. Councilmember Christensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We did meet on February 25th, 2014 at City Hall. The meeting was called to order. There were no public comments. Next on the agenda was the 2014 improvement projects, which is a resolution. Our interim city engineer, Mr. Jared Vogue, presented the proposed 2014 improvement projects. They consist of 3 parts, those parts being new construction, reconstruction, and overlay, and also includes Wilmer Avenue street lighting across the former airport. The preliminary engineering report was presented and discussed, and that is attached to our minutes. The next step in the process is for the council to receive the preliminary engineering report and call for a hearing on the improvements. Councilmember DeBleek expressed some concern about street lighting on the north side of Wilmer Avenue being a safety issue. It was also asked if concrete bid could be an alternate for new construction and reconstruction projects. Those items will be addressed prior to the hearing. Councilmember Amon raised questions about street condition ratings and project prioritization. Our staff responded that conditions are analyzed every 2 years and streets are prioritized for rehabilitation work. The determining factor for the size and scope of an improvement project is typically the availability of funding. Following some discussion, a motion was made, seconded to pass for the following, and I would introduce the resolution to adopt this resolution receiving the preliminary engineering report and calling for a hearing on the 2014 improvement projects at our next meeting, March 17th, 2014.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive the preliminary engineering report and call for a hearing on the 2014 projects at the March 17th, 2014 meeting. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Dockin.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
DeBleek.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Amon.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
Next item was old business, and there wasn't any. Under new business, we had Mr. Amon explained why he previously voted against the purchase of the inspector's vehicle. He said the city needed a more detailed vehicle mechanical analysis process for future purchases. Also, we had Mr. Scott Ladebor to present Public Works information about the snow removal for this year and water main breaks that have happened. He mentioned that overtime hours are up compared to 2012 and 13, and water main breaks are up also. I'll give you just a few statistics that he passed on to us. So far this year, we've spent 702 hours cleaning snow as compared to 365 in 2013. Snowfall for this year so far is 33.4 inches, and a normal snowfall through March of each year is 45.85 inches, which I thought was higher than normal. There have been 30 snow and ice events for this year, and they've hauled snow out of the Central Business District 6 times so far. We've also purchased 3,500 cubic yards of sand in comparison to an average of 2,000 per year. Of the 16 miles of city sidewalks and trails maintained by Public Works, because of winds and drifting, they've had difficulty maintaining all of the trails on a daily basis and had to stop maintaining North 71 Trail from Thompson Park to Civic Center Drive, 15th Avenue Northwest by Ridgewater College, and the Civic Center Drive Northeast by the Bypass Bridge. They will open up as spring arrives. He also mentioned that we've had water main breaks in roadways, 14 of them this year, and we've got 5 weeks yet to go this year, and the frost is still going deep. They've hit 6.5 feet and deeper snow, or frost, below the roads, and that's probably going to drive deeper as this year continues. They're worried about home services freezing because of frost depth and low water usage. Frost this year is deeper than staff has ever seen it. We also had a report from our police chief. He gives us every 2 weeks the number of inmates at the jail, and as of February 24th, there were 70 inmates. And the 2 weeks prior to February 24th, there were 653 incidents that the police were called to. That includes many were accidents because of the ice and the snow, and he said domestics are also up this year. We also had a report from our fire chief, Mr. Gary Hendrickson, and he said he would share with us some of the information that he gave us at the committee meeting. So, Gary?
Councilman Christensen and members of council. Last year for 2013, we ran 274 fire calls. On a typical year, we run about 1 call per day, so roughly about 350 to 365 calls during the year. Last year, we had about $5.5 million worth of property loss. Primarily, that was due to the New U fire, Arnold's fire, and Midwest campus. And to date, we've run about 52 calls. Additionally, we have a new fire truck. Some may have seen or heard that we're getting a new fire truck. The new fire truck will be in town in July. We will host a community event for that. It's a Quint, or it will be called Ladder 8, so you'll see that sometime in July. And we have 5 new firefighters that we did hire, and they have completed approximately 90 hours of their 160 hours of training. So hopefully we'll be getting them on board completely here in the near future.
Thank you, Mr. Hendrickson. I had also asked our Public Works Superintendent to look into snow melting equipment. I was on the internet and Googled it and find that they're using it at all airports and many localities north of the Chicago line that, where we get a lot of snow in the city. Might be an idea to utilize that downtown instead of having all the trucks come in and haul it out, dump it into there, let the water melt and go down to their storm sewer. It would help for spring runoff, snow melt. And we're using diesel fuel anyway in these trucks, and these snow melt equipment uses diesel fuel. If there are no questions or comments, I would move to file these minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to file the Public Works Safety Committee minutes. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Go to the Community Development report. Councilmember Fagerly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We met February 27th at City Hall at 4:45. We had 24 people in attendance there. Item number 2 was the public comments. No one was there to speak to us. Item 3, Jennie-O Turkey Store purchase agreement. This is a motion. Staff presented a proposal to transfer property to Jennie-O Turkey Store for their future expansions. The Phase 1 expansion is intended for 2014 and involves the transfer of 2 parcels totaling approximately 8 acres of land to Jennie-O Turkey Store, as detailed on the attachment. And it should be on the screen there. So, a calculated purchase price of $238,072 would be written down to zero by applying the city's land write-down policy. An option or first right of refusal was proposed for the 30-acre parcel, 30-acre Phase 2 parcel, in order to provide a level of assurance to the company that the land was available for their future needs. The committee had a number of questions. Councilman Dockin asked about past record keeping for the project and future record keeping. Councilman Johnson inquired about the appraisal numbers and the fact there were different square footage values assigned to the 3 parcels. I tried to explain that each parcel had to be appraised separately because they all had separate legal descriptions and parcel numbers. Mr. Johnson also inquired about the jobs to be created by the project. Randy Alsban of Jennie-O Turkey Store said a majority of the jobs coming to the expanded corporate headquarters would be from other Jennie-O offices in Minnesota and Wisconsin, with a good number of those coming from Spicer. Councilmember DeBleek asked about the value of the Phase 1 parcels to the city. Staff explained that there was very little value to the parcels due to the physical encumbrances and obstacles inherent with each parcel. I did ask if Jenny O Turkey Store was ready to move forward with the office expansion if the council acted favorably on the land transfer. And the Jenny O representative replied yes, as soon as they can. The question was asked whether the two possible expansion projects are tied to the action for the Phase 1 land transfer. And again, Jenny O representative explained or replied yes. Councilmember DeBleek concluded discussion by saying that the corporate expansion sets the stage for future industrial growth, and he recognized the value of Jenny O Turkey Store in the region and as a Fortune 500 company. A motion was made and seconded and passed to recommend the transfer of property for phases 1 and 2 as proposed by staff, and directing staff and legal counsel to prepare the necessary purchase agreement and option first right of refusal for final review by the council. And I'll introduce that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to recommend the transfer of property for phases 1 and 2 as proposed by staff, and directing staff and legal counsel to prepare the necessary purchase agreement and option or first right of refusal for final review by the council. Discussion. I have a comment that I want to make, and it's a comment that I make routinely when it has to do with Jenny O. And I'm going to ask our city attorney again. I am a former Hormel employee. I've been retired for 5 years, worked at Jenny O for about 20 years. I also have a small, and I mean small, amount of stock in Hormel. In your legal opinion, do I have any recourse or worry about having a conflict of interest?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I have looked at this before at your request, and no, you don't have a legal disqualifying conflict of interest.
Okay.
The city's conflict of interest policy, which it just adopted, I think, last year, and was drafted specifically to be consistent with state law in this, in fact, excludes de minimis ownership of stock in a publicly traded corporation. My view of this is your situation falls into that exception. There is no legal disqualifying conflict of interest.
All right, thank you. I just want to be open and upfront about that. Any other discussion? Councilmember Christensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I have a question similar to that, Mr. Scott. I'm a contractor, a local home builder in Willmar, and anticipate maybe building some homes for some people that come in here. Do I have a conflict of interest?
With respect to this action item?
Mm-hmm.
I can't see how you would have a conflict of interest. No.
Well, I may profit financially from building homes from new employees here, so.
It seems pretty speculative, and in fact, I don't think that you would have any, from what you've just told me, I think your interest would be the same as any member of your profession. That also is an exclusion under a conflict of interest policy. I also do not see a conflict in that situation.
Okay, thank you.
No, that's good. I think I'd rather have the questions come up and be addressed than to wish we had in the past. Are there any other questions? Councilmember Fagerly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Earlier tonight, we were asked if we can just sell the land. It has to go before the Planning Commission. They have to approve it first, or also, don't they? They did.
Mr. Peterson.
The city charter does indeed require that the Planning Commission review any proposal for the city council to acquire or dispose of property. The Planning Commission did in fact look at this issue at their meeting of last week and has recommended the transfer of property as proposed.
Thank you.
Any other question? Councilmember DeBleek.
I wonder if Mr. Peterson could go through and explain the whole process as to how we go about transferring land or any particular item like this, as far as where public hearings are involved and the like. So what's the whole process?
I will do my best. Again, the charter deals with it from the standpoint of giving the council the authority to transfer those properties, but does require that the Planning Commission weigh in and offer an opinion. It does not require that the council abide by the opinion of the Planning Commission, only that the Planning Commission have the opportunity to weigh in and to offer an opinion from a land use standpoint. And in the eyes of the Planning Commission on this particular proposal, the transfers of real estate makes a lot of sense because that area is shown in our comprehensive plan as future industrial development property. With regard to the actual sale of the property, in this particular case, the recommendations are to approve the structure and to have staff and legal counsel come back to the council with an actual purchase agreement and a first right of refusal or an option for the larger tract of land. At that point, it'll go back to committee, and the committee will make a final recommendation to the council as to whether or not to accept it, and then it will go to the full council for a vote at that following meeting, and it will be done by resolution.
Any other questions? Councilmember Rahman?
Thank you, and I appreciate it that you came clean on that issue of your participation with Genio. I really do appreciate you coming forward and saying that. But we had an individual speak here prior to on public comments about having a public hearing on Genio, and I don't think there's what we're doing is completely right, and as far as the law goes, we're dealing with probably the largest project we've had in this community, and it's going to set the precedence and the tone for this growth of our community. Hopeful strong growth in our community for the next 20 years, maybe more. Don't you think we should have a public hearing on this? I mean, if we really want to have a team effort behind a project and be behind supportive of the entire community and have that consensus building, don't you think we should be selling this to the community as a partnership, as a team to build our community rather than just through the city council? I know I've had about 10 or 12 phone calls from different individuals, some pro, some just asking questions, but I think there's some questions that really haven't been asked here and really been answered and explained thoroughly to the city council, and more importantly the city council, but to the constituents, the people who are going to help fund this. And I'm just wondering if the council feels that, and although it might not be required, I personally think it'd be a great idea so we can get their involvement and make sure we're going in a positive direction with everybody to be on board. Just appreciate anybody's opinion on that.
Anyone have a thought? I guess by that we feel okay with where we are. I have a comment, maybe. I think the public weighed in a big way in 2004 when we enacted the local option sales tax. They elected to tax themselves to expand the industrial park. And I think part and parcel with the expansion of the industrial park is they wanted us to fill it up. So I think the public has spoken, and they've said, we've got the land, we got the land released, now it's time to move forward and fill it up. Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I have one comment to make. It was mentioned at the meeting that we're dealing with the first Fortune 500 company in our community. It's great news, absolutely fantastic that we have the ability of the staff and city council in the previous years to have the foresight to put the infrastructure in for a company to expand and for them to cooperate with us. It's absolutely fantastic. But the other issue, and these are based on some of the calls I received from my constituents, is that the issue of transparency. There's certain things every one of us have been taught as a young child, and one of them is honest, openness, and transparency, and I try to live by those rules. I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to judge anybody. And that's, again, why I appreciate your comments, Mr. Anderson, because those questions have been raised by me, and I've talked with you about this because I want to be open on it. What I wanted to be perfectly known, as Mr. Christensen said, since we're dealing with the first time we're ever voting on a land giveaway of over $1 million to a company, I'd like to come clean and say that I have never, and to this date, do not own any shares or any financial stock in Jennie-O Foods. I want to come clean on this, and if the rest of the City Council wants to make a statement like that now, I think now would be the time to do it, or if City staff wants to, who's been involved in the process of negotiating and bringing this information to the Council, wants to make that statement, I think it would say a lot to our, a good message and a strong message to our constituents.
Okay. I think just as a little clarification, there's Jennie-O does not issue stock. The Hormel company owns Jennie-O.
I should have said Jennie-O.
And the Hormel Corporation issues the stock.
Fine.
Okay. Yep. But we understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion on the table. Does everyone remember what it is? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Item number 4, consideration of municipal code amendments to the solid waste issues. Staff introduced the review of the solid waste section of the municipal code. Megan DeShepard, the city planner who led the task force, outlined changes to the code as proposed by the task force. And the attachments in your on your iPad. The proposed changes include additions, revisions to the section on collection, storage, and disposal of solid waste, as well as enforcement procedures. Under the proposed ordinance, administrative citations can be issued by the community service officers or police officers following an unsuccessful attempt by the Department of Planning and Development Services to resolve a violation. Several members of the task force were present to offer comments. Linda Mathiasen explained that information from other cities was helpful in structuring the ordinance amendments. Stefan Deleski showed some photos of problem areas, specifically in the downtown area. And Councilman DeBleek offered the comment that the ordinance was not specific to the downtown but would be enforced citywide. Don Williamson of the task force offered comments regarding his company's requirements for access to solid waste receptacles. Following discussion, there was a motion made and seconded to introduce the ordinance amending the municipal code and to set a hearing for March 17th, 2014. And I'll introduce that motion.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to introduce an ordinance amending the municipal code and set the hearing for March 17th, 2014. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Item 5 was old business. There was no old business. Number 6 was new business. And there was no new business. So we adjourned at 5:35. And if no questions, I move to file the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to file the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Okay. Consideration of a Civic Center Arena special event, on sale liquor. Mr. Halliday.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, you have before you an application for an on-sale liquor license at the Wilmer Civic Center Arena for a special event for a 3-day curling novice bonspiel. That'll be held March 21, 22, and 23, and the curling club plans to sell alcohol. They will be distributing it through an on-sale license holder currently, the Baker's Eagle Creek Eatery, LLC, and the on-site employee required to be listed is Trent Gerking. It is staff's recommendation that we approve the permit on a roll call vote.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the Civic Center special event on sale liquor license. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Fagerly?
Aye.
DeBleek?
Aye.
Anderson?
Aye.
Christensen?
Aye.
Amon?
Aye.
Nelson?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Dockin?
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 nays.
That passes. Consideration of amendment to the zoning ordinance, Section 3, relating to shipping/storage containers. Mr. Peterson.
Mayor Pro Tem Anderson, members of the council, as a result of several recent and ongoing issues regarding the use of storage containers for long-term storage in the community, or shipping containers, I should call them, the Planning Commission reviewed the matter and offers an amendment to the zoning ordinance that would limit their use and restrict it to a certain length of time for certain activities. Those time frames are more specifically called out in the ordinance amendment that is part of your packet. It's a recommendation of staff that the ordinance amendment be introduced for a public hearing to be held on March 17th.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to set a public hearing for that subject on March 17th, 2014. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? That passes. My computer hasn't caught up with my mind. Under old business, I forgot to mention that I did have something that I think needs to be announced and a remembrance needs to be made. A long-term Wilmer Utilities employee who retired last summer passed away about a week and a half ago, Larry Heinen. Larry had been with the utilities for about 32 years. Retired last summer, always a smiling face. And our thoughts and prayers go to the family of Larry Heinen in their time of sorrow right now. So does anyone else have any old business or new business? Let's do committee meeting dates. Finance Committee will meet Monday, the 10th at 4:45. Public Works, Public Safety?
Tuesday, March 11th at 4:45.
Labor?
Tomorrow, 4:45, conference room 1 on the main floor of City Office buildings. And pending date after that, we're not sure yet when we establish that at our meeting. I may want to also add that the reason why, one of the items that what I talked to Charlene about on the agenda will be to review our conflict of interest policy and to review that in such a manner that everything is squeaky clean and transparent, not only with the City Council, but with all committees associated with any land giveaway or future development incentives for future businesses in the City of Wilmer. I think we need to be transparent. We need to be squeaky clean, open, and honest about it so we don't have a negative attitude in the city. We will be putting that on the agenda. The date yet has not been established.
Okay, thank you. Community Development?
We will not be meeting.
Okay, and I have one heads up for the council. Board of Equalization will be April 21st with an 11 a.m. start for lunch, and then we will be meeting with the public at noon. Is there any other business to come before the council?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. We are adjourned.